Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Adrian, and this is my little corner of South Carolina. I know I say that every time, but that's about the way I feel. I was having a conversation with our one of our daughters this morning, and honestly, with the way life is now and the hustle and the bustle of everything, I feel like we've just kind of secluded ourselves into this little corner of the world. And honestly, as long as we are in our corners of our world, we're just fine. So that's why I call it my corner. And I'm trying to make it into a homestead. I put up a video about it, and we'll go more in depth into it later. I'm thinking about doing another video on that of why we got where we are, especially at this stage of life. Because I just turned 50 in last September. And other than our youngest is still at home, I'm the youngest one in this house. So I do believe I've hit what I'm calling my serenity in life. So this is what we're doing, and I'm having a ball doing it. I'm having so much fun. So today we're gonna go back. I've been telling you I'm going back to my roots, and I've already done sloppy joes. I do my own hamburgers. Tempted to do chicken nuggets last night with canned chicken. Been seeing lots of videos on that. In this household, a chicken nugget will be stuck with having chicken and us cutting it into nugget sizes and frying it. There's no sense in messing with that. So that's going to stay where it's at. And we'll go through that later. Also made a recipe last night. It was absolutely fantastic. So when I get the stuff to do it again, I'll do it for you because you guys have got to have this. Especially for those of you who are looking for a 1-pot or a 2-pot meal. Something very simple and easy you can throw together, and 35-40 minutes later it's ready. So good, so delicious. So I'll get the stuff and do that for you again later. But this morning is really early. Well, really early. It's 9:15. As you can see, I'm coming off of a really bad migraine attack time. But I did want to make breakfast for my family this morning, and I'm going to make biscuits. I have been starting and stopping this video for a while, and it is time that I bring you along with me. Let me go grab my apron, and we'll get started. Okay, so I got my apron on, but I also need some coffee. So I'm going to make that really quick. I got some coffee in my cup here. And the local pharmacy, the local produce place that we go to, the pharmacy, FARMACY, they have a organic oat creamer. This is really sweet. So what I had been planning on doing was making my own oat milk and then mixing them. That didn't happen. So normally I just have regular oat milk or something to go in here first without the sweetened creamer. But since I've already had a cup of regular coffee, I would like to have a treat. And then our youngest, my baby, bought me this, y'all. He knows his mama's belly, and he knows his mama's lactose issue. And we were at Aldi one day, and they had this. It's an oat milk cold foam. It is a treat for me. This is not something that I have every day. It's not even something that I have multiple times a day. It's an every once in a while treat. I've probably had that a week now and only used not even a quarter of it. Because I try to that's a treat for me, so I let it play out a bit. So good. So, like I've told y'all, I'm working on my home cookbook, so I have it right here. I put it in this right now. But as you see, it's already getting full. So my husband brought me a larger binder, so I'm going to start working on this because I have more pages. I mean, I have pages, I have notebooks everywhere full of recipes. And what I'm doing in here now is I'm compiling all of my recipes. Then once I start going through them, I'm going to pull out the ones that I don't like or we didn't care for or a lot of them I have started and I started making changes. So my pieces of paper are scribbled, they're written all in. So I'm going to get all this compiled together and make us an actual home cookbook. And it did come in handy the other day, because I showed you guys that we had the rack of lamb and the tomahawk steak. We'll put a picture in of the tomahawk steak. Hold on for one moment. So it actually turned out very well. It was delicious. Like I said, with me being down, there was no filming going on because it took the two and the three of us to cook meals. But the nice thing was I was able to come in and pull out my recipe book of how we like our rack of lamb, have everything ready for them. And then when I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore, I was able to go sit down. My husband was able to come in and pick up where I had left off. So that is the whole purpose of our cookbook, is so that if I'm cooking, these are recipes that have been passed down to me, recipes that have been taught to me. So I am taking intent in when I'm making them to measure everything out and put it in a book. So today's going to be our biscuits. Now with this recipe, with a lot of my recipes, I had trouble. I could make biscuits for years. And then I hit this stride. My husband and I, it's a running joke with us. When we first met and I first made a meal for him, I kept raving about my biscuits. I could not get them to do right from then on out. So I just let it go for a while. Well, then I started researching because I wanted to figure out what I was doing wrong, what was going wrong, and I figured it out. I found my recipe that I was using, tweaked it, and made it my own. So this recipe is a recipe that I found from someone else, and then I mixed it and made it my own, changed a lot of the ingredients. So this is what works for me. Now, what I will see and what you will see me do today is this is going to be a two-part video. What you're going to see me do today is actually make the biscuits the way that I make them. I'm getting ready to do something in making of these that I'm sure both of my sweet grandmothers are still giving me a hard time about from the other side, because there is one thing that you've always been taught for years and years and years, and I was, is you cannot overwork your biscuit batter or your biscuits are going to be tough. True? Tell me that I'm not crazy and this is what you've always been told. Because my cousin and I even had this same conversation. She was taught the same thing. But I'm going to show you today what I do, because I totally read another lady wrong and did it this way. Even though she said don't do it this way, I misread it because that's the way my brain works. And it works great. Simple, easy. These hands are not mixing anything because I can't. So this is what we're going to do. I'll get you set up. I'm going to pull you down a little bit so you can see me. So the first thing that I do, yes, grab your stand mixer bowl or your batter bowl, whatever you're going to be able. I don't know if this is going to work with a hand mixer. I use my KitchenAid. So I got my bowl, and then I need flour, and I use plain flour. I used to be strictly a self-rising flour girl. Not anymore. I have plain flour. I buy it in bulk because I can make self-rising flour because I keep everything on hand anyways. So I need 3 cups of flour. Now, what you're going to see is a lot of people do this different ways. Some people are like, oh, you can just put your scoop down in there. Oh, well, you can do. This is the way that I was taught. And I don't know if anybody else is in this same era of me. I took home ec. And my home ec teacher told me that you fluff your flour, which I do. I do not sift my flour because what I get is already pre-sifted and all that fun stuff. You know, and there may be a day where I come to sift again, but I ain't doing it today because I'm too tired. Got my measuring cup, wooden spoon. I always use a wooden spoon. This is my favorite. It's got a point on it. So go in and fluff your flour up and then gently place that in your cup. Now, like I said, some people do the fluff method and they're able to get their things to turn out great. And I'm going to say that's because that is the way that they've been taught, and they've been able to take their measurements to the way that they measure their flour. I've taken my ingredients and my measurements to the way that I measure my flour. Now, there are some people who have gone to weighted measures. I do that at times too, just not with my biscuits. This is the way that I'm comfortable with doing my biscuits. So I'm not saying this is the only way, because there's not. There's multitudes of ways to do this. My suggestion for you is to find the one that you like, that you can handle. Like I said, my hands are not working great anymore. So I need something that I can do that's easier for my hands, but still tastes amazing. So right here I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And no, this is not Azure flour. This is a 10-pound bag of flour from Walmart. As I've told you guys, 2 months of back-to-back $600 power bills has killed us. So I'm going with what I can do. All right, then we need, I say 4 to 5 teaspoons of baking powder. I know that seems like a lot, but you need that to rise. You need that. So I'm going to go grab my teaspoon really quick. Oh, I got one up here. Normally I have everything together. I'm not with it today, y'all. Sorry. So bear with me. This is a normal day in my kitchen. All right, the reason that I say 4 to 5, the original recipe called for 4. I did 4. It's okay. I prefer to do 5. When I first opened my baking powder, I may just do like a heaping 4th one, but I stick with 4. But this has been opened for a bit, and I'll do 5. Not that there's anything wrong with it, because I've been using this. I bought it in bulk from Sam's, and it was in a great big thing with 2 packs. So I'm down. This is all I have left. So that did really well, but I'm hoping to be able to order that from Azure next month. Our power bill has been cut $200, so I'll be able to have $200 to spend, hopefully. All right, baking soda. This is Azure baking soda, and you need 1/4 of a teaspoon. I'm just going to use my teaspoon to do my 1/4. Now, the one thing that I have found out with the Azure products is they don't put a lot of fillers. They don't put any preservatives or anything in there. So this baking soda will clump a little. Just go in and mash it with the back of your teaspoon. That's what I do. All right. And that is, we need salt. We need a teaspoon of salt. And this is our dry ingredients. Plain and simple, as easy as that is. Now, what you would normally do here is put it in your mixer, mix it up, get your dry ingredients combined well. Y'all, I'm too tired for that. I don't do that step, because to me, there's no sense in it. Take your spoon, mix it around. Plain and simple. Easy peasy. All right, next thing. Some people use butter. Some people use Crisco. I use Crisco. I've used butter. The reason that I don't prefer butter is with this particular recipe, I like to be able to freeze some of my biscuit dough, and you'll see that. When I do that with butter, for some reason with the way that I do it, it doesn't want to sit up right, and my biscuits don't come out right when I put them on a pan to cook them after they've been frozen. To me, Crisco holds up better. It may hold up better once I get my good butter back, but I've not been able to make that work yet. So the next thing you want to do is get your 1/2 cup, and you want 1/2 cup of your Crisco. Every once in a while, and I do this if I'm not going to be freezing my dough, because if my son's here and I need them for breakfasts for the week, I'll just make them all up at one time. And I will actually do a 1/4 stick of butter and a quarter cup of Crisco and a 1/4 cup of softened room temperature unsalted butter. The only reason I say unsalted is because of the salt that I put in here. If I go to put a salted butter in here, it's too salty for us. So I keep salted and unsalted on hand. So for this, the extra salt isn't good because I don't like it. It's way too salty. So after you do that, measure out your 1/4 cup of Crisco. Put it in there. And then the only other thing you're going to need after this is a 1.5 cups of buttermilk. Yes, I prefer buttermilk. I like the way that it cooks. I like the way that it helps poof my biscuits up. It truly does help loosen them up. So, that's what we're doing. Hang on a minute, y'all. I gotta fix this back. Okay. Alright, so before I go over there, I have pet whole culture buttermilk. And here's the thing, do not freak if you see the date on my bottle, because y'all, this is buttermilk. When you buy buttermilk from the store, they've already pasteurized it. They've already done buttermilk, sour milk. Okay, so if it goes past your date, see, it says February 25th. This is now April the 6th or 7th or something like that. I just smelled and tasted this. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no mold on it. There's nothing wrong. It's been in the back of my refrigerator. See? Perfectly fine. Smells like buttermilk. Smells like I just opened it. Alright guys, I'll meet you at the mixer. Okay everybody, so now I've got this over at the mixer, and as you see, I did not add anything to it. It is exactly as you guys saw it. There's my clump of Crisco right in the middle. So I'm going to get this incorporated in. Now the one thing that you will find out, and do not turn this on just right away. Slowly, just off and on, try to pulse it a little bit. You'll see some people do this part in the food processor, but like I said, my hands are not going to be doing any work today because they hurt. So see how it wants to clump up on there? I have a small little wooden spoon, and I just pull all of that off. Knock your blade. I do use the paddle attachment because, number one, even though this is a biscuit, I don't consider this a dough that needs that hook. I use the paddle attachment because it scrapes my bowl at the same time. And like I said, this is what I have found out that works best for me, and it's easiest for me. Now this is where I'm getting ready to tell you and show you what your grandmothers have told you for years not to do, because this is stronger than we were taught it was. Alright, everything's in there. I've made sure there's a well in the bottom. There's a little well down there. 1.5 cups of buttermilk goes in. Okay, we're good so far, right? Good, good. Now you are going to put this back in. You're going to turn this on your number 1 just to get it mixed in. And once it does, click it up to all the way up and count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're done. Then I just take and I use my scraper, scrape off the sides as much as possible because it is pulling away. All right, now do not get discouraged or worried if you have a little bit of your mix in the bottom. That's fine. Let's take this over to our counter. All right, normally when I get to this point and I bring you guys over to my table, I've already got my mat out. Today, I told you, is not the best day, so just hang out with me while I get it together. I do have one of these silicones. I love this thing. I have 2 different sizes. I do have a larger one and a smaller one. And honestly, at first, I didn't know what I would actually ever use the smaller one for. But I have found that out, and I've used it several times. So it's been really easy. It's been nice having 2 different ones, for sure. Now, I've turned on my oven. My oven is preheating to 450. because that's what I cook my biscuits on. Now, I've got this pan. It's a smaller pan. I will put some parchment paper on it, and that will be where I put the biscuits that I'm going to freeze, because it sits down in my large freezer really, really well. Then I have my other pan out for the biscuits that are going to go in the oven. Now you want to flour your surface. I always put a little bit of flour out to the side, but normally I don't use it, because the one thing that I have found, and when you guys have watched my videos before, and I have brought up that I watch Acre Homestead, and Becky has brought up a great thing, and a thing that I never thought about, that she's been messing with her doughs with water instead of flour. I've started that, and actually it's working great. So I don't want to use a lot of flour for my biscuits, but I do want to make sure they're floured and watered, and they're liquid, they're balanced enough. So take your paddle attachment and just get everything off of it. Scrape it down. I really wish you guys could be in my kitchen right now. I decided we have so many strawberries in my freezer that I need to work up to make freezer jam. I wanted some jam, and I didn't want to wait, so I've got some in a pot, some strawberries in a pot behind me that I'm cooking down with some sugar just to do a quick jam. Alright, so I just incorporated all of the mixture that was in the bottom. Because, and I say all of it, it might have been 1/8 of a teaspoon, if that. So once you have this out, this really is so easy. And what I do also, as you will see it, I'm going to work on this. Is why I say this is part 1 of this video. Because in part 2, I'm going to take some of these biscuits that we're going to put in the freezer. I'm going to take them out for you. And I'm going to show you how I use it. Quick note, little fun fact, biscuit mix, biscuit dough isn't just used for biscuits. My grandmothers loved them so much. Miss them every day. Y'all have no idea. But my nanny made everything. Biscuits, pies, casseroles. The lady, from my understanding and my memory, did not do a biscuit, did not do a pie crust. Her pie crust was her biscuit dough. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Working on a few things for this week. For us, we've got some things in the freezer that I want to use, some things in the refrigerator that needs to be used up. Alright, so once you get these into, and you can make these as thin or as thick as you want. So I've got me a good rectangle here. Now, at this point, I could do anything with this dough. At this point, this could be breakfast quiche, this could be cinnamon rolls, this could be whatever you want it to be. This morning, I'm doing 2 different things. This is the glass I choose to use as my biscuit cutter. I have a biscuit cutter. It's probably one of my favorites, but sometimes I just don't want to use it. I want a bigger biscuit. So there's 3 of us today. Our son is at work. And after work today, he will go back to his dad's. So it's just us. So I'm only going to make 6 biscuits this morning. Perfect little biscuit. So that's easy peasy. That's all I'm going to do. Here in a minute I got to get my... If your biscuits are not even on the top, like I like to go kind of wonky and sideways at times, just pat them down a little bit. It's not going to hurt a thing. Let me grab my parchment paper. Best decision I ever made was buying parchment paper by the roll, because I use it a lot. So my oven is still preheating. Now, I did not completely cover this pan because I'm not going to be using the whole pan. If you want to, sometimes I do if my OCD tendencies are a little high that day. Now you do want your biscuits to touch a little bit. What I try to do is let them touch on the sides that are a little flatter than the other ones. That to me is just always a fun little way of, let's see if we can't perk that side up and nobody's the wiser. So, but I always kind of make me a little flour or whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to set these over to the side because my oven's not ready just yet. Now, Adrian, what are you going to do with all that biscuit dough left? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten this out again, go back in and work it up. It is still fine. As you work it up each time, you will feel it getting a little stiffer. So I always try to only have to turn my dough and pat it out once or twice. If I have to go for the third one, we go for the third one. But then I know I can use that for other things. So with this round, because I do want biscuits in my freezer, I'm going to cut me out 4 because that's what this round of dough will allow. Now at any point when I'm discussing any of this, please let me know. If you have any questions, ask away. I'm here to answer any question you have. Now the one thing that I do like to do is powder my sides of my fingers because these are going in the freezer. I want to give those sides just a tiny bit of a protection. And it may be something that's not necessary. However, I feel like at least it makes my biscuits look prettier after they've been frozen and I bake them. Just a personal preference. If you decide to do this, try it both ways and see which way you like the best. That's what I do. All right, so there's 4 biscuits for my freezer. Now, but Adrian, what are you doing with that big mug? This is the perfect size for me to be able to make a pie crust, or as I can use 2 of them and make me a bottom pie crust, or one of these. Actually, I can use the other size, but one of these I can flatten out and make a hand pie. I can make a homemade hot pocket, pizza pocket, whatever you want to with it. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how we can do that. That's why I'm saying this is part 1. We're going to be spending quite a few videos on biscuit dough, just so you know. So I guess you can say we're doing a series now. All right. And there, my 2. I do not flour the sides of them because I don't need those to look pretty when I take them out and cook them, because I'm going to reshape them. Now, I do have this little bit of dough left, so what I will do with it is flatten it down. I'm going to see if I can get one more. Just trying to figure out. You know what? I'm not going to do any more biscuits. I'm going to take this and I'm going to try to shape it the same size as those, because there is 3 of us. So whatever I make with this, if it's a dinner type thing, I need to have 3. But if not, this gives us 3, so I can show you 3 different ways to use this. All right, guys, it doesn't have to be pretty either, because like I said, we're going to redo this. So, we're going to flatten this out, and that's where this one comes in handy, because this is your inches. You roll it out to here. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You put it in here, and we'll show you how to use these, because a lot of people don't know how to use these. So I'm going to try to inform you guys on how to use your baking mat and your silicone mat, because this does double as a baking mat. So I could easily just put my clean this off, put my biscuits on it, and throw it in the oven. But I'm not going to. When you heard my oven earlier, it has beeped to let me know that it is preheated. So what I'm going to do is put my biscuits, these are not going to touch, because all I'm going to do is flash freeze these, and they'll leave them for about an hour. And then once I do that, I'll put them in a bag. But I'm going to use 2 different bags because I got 2 different sizes. So just put those, I make me a place. I have a pretty much a permanent spot here that is a really good spot to put my pan. Hold on a second, guys. I'm making a mess in here. So then I just set my pan on top, gently close my freezer, and those will be frozen, and I'll get them out in about an hour. And what I try to do is put all of my biscuit stuff that I've used back in my batter bowl, because with it having Crisco and buttermilk, whole buttermilk and all of that, it can get a touch greasy, so I try to keep everything together. And I'm really working on something for you guys for dinner. Hopefully I'll be able to get it done and show you. We have some pork, little small pork chops in the freezer. I'm going to try to make little pork roulades. If not, we'll just fry those. And I've got to use some spinach somewhere today. I'm overrun with spinach in my freezer. So I think what we are going to do is we very well may make a cream spinach. I'm not sure yet. Honestly, it really just depends on how I feel later as to what we do. So my oven is preheated. Hang on a moment. I'll move you closer, because I want y'all to see. See, there's my strawberries right there. So, like I said, no tricks, no tomfoolery here. Still need to be baked. Putting them in the oven. Top rack. 10 minutes. 10 minutes, we're going to check those. Now, here's my strawberries. Like I said, I just put a thing of frozen strawberries. They were just fresh strawberries that Mom cut the tops off of them. Worked through them, made sure there were no bad spots in them. Because we have been getting a good bit of strawberries from the pantries here lately. As you see, I have changed my clothes. I'm already hot. This is what happens with my my headache illness. Is right after I've had a really bad episode, I will run like literally hot. So yeah, fun times. All part of the thing I live with. So we deal with it. So here you go. I've just macerated these strawberries. My husband is awake, so I'm going to pull out. You guys should know what this is by now. If not, this is our grits pot. So this is ready. Let's see how it's thickening up on me. So I'm just going to put this back here on a lower burner, just so they can chill out while everything else is getting ready. So right here, what you're going to see when I write in my book, I have my recipe, but then down here I have my different directions for when it's from frozen, because they do take a little bit more time. So I've tried to write that down to help pinpoint everything for everybody. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know, and I will write that recipe up for you. We have the pot. I'm going to do 2 cups of water. Actually, I'll show you how we do this. Let me get the pot off of there, because I can't find anything right now. Okay. I keep our grits in a big bin. So, the easiest way to remember this is it's 4 to 1. So 4 of these to 1 of these. 4 of water. So that's what I'm going to do. Cold water. 4 of these cups. And this is not a whole cup. I'm using a half a cup. Yes, this looks like it may be a lot, but it's really not for the 3 of us, because we do love our grits. Especially if we get our ratios right. Oh my gosh, they're the best things ever. So what I'm going to do is today, because it is like almost 10 o'clock now, I think. Yeah, it is 10 o'clock. So basically, I'm making brunch for us. Put some butter in there. And I need some salt. Now, we do have, usually keep a measuring spoon over there, but I just used it. So let me grab another one. I usually keep a teaspoon over there. But like I said, I just used it. So, look, I'm grabbing everything but a freaking teaspoon. There it is. So as you see, we've changed things. So my husband put me some thumbtacks up inside my cabinet door so I can put my main measuring utensils up there. So I have just some kosher, some sea salt, just regular sea salt, and my spoon. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt in there. And then we're going to wait for those to come up to temperature. Put our grits in and we'll set our timer. All right, so we're halfway to our 10 minutes, and I just wanted to show you how they look. See how poofy that they are? So what I'm going to do is wait till the timer goes off, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. Oh, and I wanted to show you my strawberries. So this was just probably about 2 cups of frozen strawberries, and I would say 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I did use my Azure sugar because it's very granulated. It's a very thick grind of a sugar. And as you see, we have jelly. That quick of a time. I just turned my burner off. And I'm going to set this over here to cool. And I'm actually going to find me something to pour it up in. Alright, so there's the one we're going to use for this morning. I love these little dishes. We found them at the thrift store at Goodwill, and we love those. And then this is the rest. I'm going to go ahead and put a lid on that and put it in my refrigerator once it cools down. So we'll have it for another morning, and then once I'm done with this, whatever we have left is, I'll put in another jar. Okay, so water is at a boil. So I'm going to take this cup, because like I said, I did 4 cups of that with water. And now I'm going to do 1 cup of grits. And we are going to use, y'all, I'm going to tell you right now, we found these. They have them at Family Dollar and at Dollar Tree. This is it's a small one. It's not the regular size one. It is a mini one. Has been the best thing. We want to go back and buy about 10 more of these for $1 to $1. Actually, they're $1.25. Hey Google, stop. Sorry about that, guys. That's what I had my biscuits set for. So what I'm going to do is I am now stirring these. I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to put a lid on it. Hey Google, set timer 13 minutes.
Sure, 13 minutes. And we're starting now.
Adrian, why did you do that now when you know that your biscuits are done? Because I want my biscuits to set. And letting them sit for 10-15 minutes isn't going to hurt anything. Because this is what we're going to do now. So now, I want you to see what they look like versus what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my oven off. Alright. See these? This has been 10 minutes. Adrian, they look done, but they're not brown. Exactly. Do this on purpose. Now's the time, because they look done, but where they were touching, they are not done. So we are going to pull them apart. Oven is off. That is very important right now. Oven is off. Hey Google, set a second timer for 5 minutes.
Second timer for 5 minutes. And that's starting now.
Hey Google, reset second timer for 3 minutes.
Okay, change the timer to 3 minutes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that time, that 3 minutes. Generally what I do is I'll clean up behind myself. I'll put my parchment paper back up. And then I try to think if there's anything else that I want to make. This is not it. I will pull some eggs into the equation. But I am calling this more of a brunch. So at this point I start thinking, what can I do? What can I make to go along with this? But actually, this is also where I sit and think, okay, it's just the 3 of us. This is generally what we eat. We just eat it earlier. So I think this is going to be fine because I do have pork chops in there, but I want to save those for dinner because I do want to do something with those because I'm feeling better, so I do want to play a little bit for dinner. So I think this is all we're going to have. I will bring the eggs. I'm going to grab some eggs for us. We had some bacon, but, you know, please, bacon don't hang out in this house very long. And it gets gone. So, generally, yes, I would, I actually have a piece of chicken in there. And I thought about making that, but no, I have to take a step back and realize I'm getting tired. Watch yourself when you're in the kitchen. Do not overexert yourself for to do something that isn't needed. My mother and my husband have taught me that very well. So I'm going to stop here and just make us some eggs. So good. If you haven't done this, do it. This is amazing. Quick, easy. Quick and easy, quick and easy. Quick, easy, and tasty. So now I'm just going to grab me a pan. Now, the one thing that you guys will see me do is I like to do a combination in my pan because I have a hard time with the way that eggs, if butter gets burnt and the eggs get cooked in it, I can't eat them. My sweet husband does make egg whites, does them by himself, does it so it doesn't do anything. And I really appreciate that. Love every time he does that. I just can't do that today. So I add a little bit of butter and oil to my pan. Hold on one moment. Alright, so my timer just went off for my biscuits. Let's take a look at them. Okay, they're still not quite brown enough. They are finally just now getting done. I'm going to put them back in there. And honestly, just leave them until I'm ready to check them again. And I think all I'm going to do is scramble these today. So, I need a bowl. Alright, so I got 4 eggs. Leaves us 2 left, but here in a bit I think we're going to get out and I'm going to get some more. Okay, as you see, I put some cheese in our grits. They're almost ready. Our eggs are almost ready. And I'm getting ready to pull our biscuits out because I know I just checked them a minute ago and they are now done. So I'm going to pull those out. Y'all look at how pretty they are. If you want them darker, if you want them to look all golden and toasty, you can throw some melted butter on the top, whatever you would prefer to do. I just don't care to do that. So I'm going to leave them completely topless. I'm not going to put anything on the top of them. So now I'm going to do is just butter our biscuits. These are so good. I'm telling you right now, they are absolutely delicious. Yeah, I've made a mess this morning, but I'll get it cleaned up in a bit. And just know, I mean, you can pull these biscuits out at any time. I could have pulled them out a couple of minutes ago. I was just tied up with my breakfast. So just be careful because I think I did get these just a tad bit too done. But it's all right. It's not a big deal. Heck, we've eaten them a little too underdone before. So, you know, it happens. And then I have... Hold on, y'all. Give me one moment. This didn't get put back up. Hang on one second. All right, 3 bowls. Mom, you want any strawberries on your biscuit? So, our butter has melted. Put our strawberries. Look, y'all can't even see that. Hey, Google, stop. Sorry, guys, if y'all have one of those and I just messed yours up. That one's in here. The other one's in our room, so. And she doesn't want any eggs, so she's just going to get grits and biscuits this morning. But my grits loving husband is going to get some. And then a few for me. See how my belly does today. All right. Here's his. Get him some eggs. And a biscuit. I hope you've enjoyed it today. I'm probably just disproved some things that you've been told or taught. So let me know if you need any help. I do appreciate you joining me today. And thank you so much for my new subscribers. I really appreciate you. If there's anything that you guys have any tips, or tricks or anything, please let me know. I do hope you guys have a great day. And remember what I always say, take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and take care of your neighbor because they probably need it too. Have a great day, everybody.